Welcome back to Will Talk Entertainment. I am at Rockingham Speed Dragway because I always got to make sure I got it right. This is Dragway. The Speedway is across the street. But welcome back to the channel. Thank you for joining us. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. If you're a returning viewer, I thank you and I appreciate your viewership and your support. So today we're at the Modern Hemi Shootout at Rockingham, and I know I was at Rockingham recently, and here I am back again. But it's really good to see this track get the love that it should, and people support it and come out and have events here. So I'm really excited about that. Today I got a special guest. I got another special guest. Now, my guest, we met a couple years ago, and when we met a couple years ago, he was out there jumping his TRX over hills with over 100 other Raptors. So this is it's great to see you again.
Same here.
It's been a while. We've been following you, watching your content, watching the evolution of your TRX in particular.
Yep. Rex.
The person who to my left here is Jody Otwell. Owns a 2021 TRX, boosted TRX. He's putting up some ridiculous times. I'm not going to tell you that. I'm going to let him speak on that. But he is doing some great things with his truck. And when I arrived and I saw the truck, it looked completely different from when I first saw it. He had only had it for a short while, but he has done some amazing things to it. So first of all, how are you, man? You look great.
I'm doing great. And first of all, I want to say thanks. Appreciate you guys coming out and taking the time. I always enjoy catching up with somebody that I've connected with previously, and just talk about the things that have evolved, the things that have changed, just the experiences that we've had between then and now. So it's always great.
And I'm glad you said that, because when you talk about experiences, I mean, this experience that we're experiencing now with you is night and day compared to what we were before.
It is.
I mean, when you talk about taking a truck off-roading versus taking it to the drag strip, that's for those of you who are not aware, that's two different universes. And to switch like that, not a lot of people do that.
Right.
Are willing to take that chance. After you've done the off-roading experiences, what made you say, you know what, I like it, but I prefer to take my truck to the drag strip? What was your thought process?
So we'll start back. So I bought the truck. I've always been a hot rod guy. I'm backing up on you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I've always been a hot rod guy. I've always enjoyed racing, since I was a teenager. Didn't really stick with it through life in general. Life takes over. You have kids, things like that. But I've always enjoyed fast cars, fast trucks. And when they announced the TRX, when they released it, I wanted one, and it took me a while to find the right one.
Right.
And when I found it really wasn't that far away, about 2 hours away. So I ran over and grabbed it, Birmingham, Alabama, and it started out as my daily driver. And just like everyone else that has a TRX, they are phenomenal trucks. They're awesome. Ram did a really great job with this truck. It is super durable, super capable of a lot of different things depending on what path you want to take with it.
Right.
Just a daily driver and enjoy it. Nice, plush, comfortable interior.
Absolutely.
And a buddy of mine, he had a Raptor, and we worked together every day. And he invited me to this off-road event with a group called Tour, the Off-Road Revolution. And it was at Durham Town, which has changed names since then, but it was in Durham Town in Union, Georgia. And I said, you know what, let's go. Hey, they're four-wheel drive trucks, they're off-road trucks, let's go see what we can do with them, have fun, Just so happens it was the same event you guys came out to.
Yep.
So that's when we met, that's when we connected. There was 3 different groups, to space us out on the different tracks. So unfortunately, we didn't really get to connect at that event.
Right.
You guys went with Group A, and I was in Group C because it was my first event. So you've got the experienced guys and the newbies. That was me. But I didn't really let that affect me any at all. I went out there and I had fun. I seen what others were doing on the track, and so we went with it. We had fun, and they call it send it. I sent it, and
so when he says send it, don't get fooled by his calm, laid back demeanor. This dude, because when he first got his truck, he was sending it, because we saw the video when you jumped that truck.
Yeah.
And it was just like, whoa. And then you heard that slam, that plate just, I know your bottom
skid plates, that's what they're
just
for,
cracked. But I mean, if that's the worst that could happen, that's not too bad.
Oh no.
When you're you jump in your truck. But man, you really go all out.
Yeah.
You to me, you have the heart of a racer.
Yeah.
And I don't think people can see that in your demeanor because you're so laid back and calm.
Yeah.
But when he's on the track, it's all business, and he's taking names. But where does that attitude, that hunger, that fire in you come from? Because that's different. Because a lot of people say they want to race and do stuff, but when it comes to it, it's kind of like, well,
they're scared. They kind of ease into it.
You just go all out, and that's what we love about you. That's why we came out here to see you.
I've always been that way. If you're going to do something, go all the way with it. You don't, I don't just step into the kiddie pool and the water's a little cool. I'm going to dive in the deep end. Right. I want to experience the whole thing from start to finish.
Right.
So that's just my mentality, and I enjoy doing that. And I bounce around all over the place. I've done that my whole life. Corvette over here, Mustang, truck. I want to experience it all. You get one life, so why do you want to? Restrain yourself. Go out there and enjoy it and experience the whole thing,
Yeah, absolutely. There's a fly here that's trying to eat both of us. I don't know why. Apparently, there's no food out here, so it's like, hey.
If there was a fly on the wall.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm going to go back to your question that you had. How did I go from that to this? I went around with the Off-Road Revolution, and, we go to different locations and do trail rides, jumps, track events, things like that. We even do a Transamerica tour where, and it's called Transamerica, but travel from North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, I think maybe in the edge of Kentucky or something like that.
Yeah, around the Midwest.
But it's like an 800-mile run, and it's in the mountains and the hills and stuff, so it's more about scenery. So it engulfs the whole experience of an off-road truck. You get trails, tracks, and get to drive tour it, so we did that, and we got invited to Holly Mow Party in Bowling Green, Kentucky. And so it's separated. You got Mow Party, and then you got Ford Fest, two separate weekends. And because of my mentality, the way I just go do things, I was invited and asked to co-host that event for the T-Rex, the TRX. And so a gentleman by the name of Blaine, me and him got in touch with each other and talked about things. And we go up there, and we have 3 days of off-road on a track that they've built. And it was a new track. And the track was set up for Ultra 4s, which is a super extreme vehicle that is built chassis from the ground up strictly for that. It's jumping 100, 150 foot through there.
Wow.
These trucks, these are not built for that type of event, but the track was set up for that. And we went out there the first day, and there was 3 TRXs there. The first 2 blew their airbags, and we learned real quick the track was just not set up for our trucks.
Right.
So immediately I took my truck, went to the car, run down to the car wash, go out there for about 2 hours washing my truck, trying to get all the mud and dirt and everything off of it so I could go to the drag strip. I'm going to go up there and enjoy myself and experience the different things at Mow Party. I mean, it's a fun, huge family event. They got swap meet, drag racing, off-road, unit car show, you name it. It's everything all engulfed in one, So anyway, so we go to the drag strip, and, I'm having fun in the truck. I like to go fast, and I'll run a couple of runs, and I'll run a 10.9 up there. And I'm like, okay, well, that's pretty impressive for us.
10.9 in a stock truck with no.
No. There were modifications.
Okay.
At that time. Okay. But we go out there, and I'm like, okay, you're running in the 10s with a full-size daily driver pickup truck. I mean, that's pretty impressive. So I'm like, well, let's. I've always enjoyed drag racing, so let's go experience this for a little while.
Right.
And honestly, from September of last year till now, it's kind of taken a life of its own. I got invited to Houston, Texas, to Legion of Demons, which is demon cars, and there's Hellcats, and I was the only TRX pickup truck at that event. But the fact I was invited to it that's a big deal. So
absolutely.
So I go out there. We ran from a 10.9 down to a 10.3. I'm like, all right, you know what? We made some headway. So here's the record out there. Let's go for it. You got to have a goal. Let's go for it. You know. So make a couple of races, and we go down to Bradenton, Florida.
Right.
Go down there just to have fun. At that moment, we wasn't trying to break the record. We were just going out there to run a 10-0 class and have fun. And at the time, the boost only record was a 999. I go out there. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. It's a 998. And I go out there running a 10-0 class, just running as fast as I can, and I ran a 997. So I broke out of my class because I ran too fast, and I broke the world record all at the same time, you know. I'm like,
wow.
I'm excited, but I'm heartbroken because I'm out of the race for the weekend, you know. So I loaded my truck up on the trailer, and a friend of mine now, I met him at this event, Ray Valdez. He goes 305 TRX, I believe, on Instagram, social media. So he was there, and he's running nitrous. I load my truck up, and the announcer calls me back out and says, "Whoa, wait a minute. You know, we've been talking about you all weekend. There's a black TRX here that says he's faster than you. So we want you back up here, and let's see what the real story is."
Yeah, exactly.
So we go up there, and me and him line up the last race of the weekend. The track shuts down after this race, and he's like, "We're going all out." And I said, "Hey, I'm going to go all out too. Let's see what'll happen, you know." And me and him race, and I run a 975, which is over 2/10 faster, and 2/10 in drag racing, that's a big deal.
That's a big deal, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I broke the record and turned right around and reset the record same night, same event, back to back, you know? And I'm like, you know what? The sky's the limit. Let's just keep going with it and see what happens, you know? So we're out there, and it's more, for me, it's more about having fun, but you have to have a goal. You can go out there and just have fun, and that's what it's all about. But I'm going to have fun and have a goal in mind all at the same time.
Yeah.
You know, so we're back out here, and, you know, I'm with some friends of mine, John and Jessica Sipple and Tim Holmberg Motorsports. We're just having a good time, enjoying the weekend, and I don't know that we're going to set any records or break any records this weekend. We're going to, you know, go out here and have a good time. There's a lot of heat and things aren't quite just right, but I'm running a 10-0 class this weekend.
Okay.
I run my dial in a 10:01, which is great. So I'm #1 qualifier in a 10-0 class. So we'll just go through the weekend and see how things go and have fun with it, you know.
And again, this is Jody being humble again, because I saw the post that you put up. Well, I think it was yesterday.
Yeah.
With the DA is like 85 degrees, and he's like, "What did you say you ran?" I forgot.
So I ran another 9.7 yesterday.
Yeah.
85-degree weather. The DA was 1700. So DA is density altitude.
Yeah.
The higher that number, the slower your car's going to run. It's so much heat and humidity and things like that. So
what did you run?
A 9.78. I mean, it's there. It's attainable.
It's attainable. You know? Yeah. I'm laughing because, you know, as racers, when we say DA and DA that hot, it's like with a truck, it's like the first thing you think of is like, damn, I don't think he's gonna run that fast. But then when you say 978, it just puts it into perspective, the amount of work and hard work you put into that truck.
Definitely.
To be able to do that, that type of DA.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That just goes to show. Yeah.
And a few other things that you want to look at in that equation, which if you're a drag racer, you know all these details. This is a 6,200-pound truck.
Yeah.
And you got to keep in mind, these Demons and Hellcats, these are, you know, 4,600-pound cars. They have a 4,200-pound class, heavyweight class. So they're right in that range. So I'm 2,000 pounds heavier than these cars, and I'm running and competing with these cars.
Right.
It takes a lot of power to do that.
Absolutely.
We're running over 1,000 horsepower to the ground. Stock engine sealed from the factory, right off the assembly line. We hadn't touched anything internally. And I owe a lot of this to my tuner. If you don't know him, do you know who my tuner is?
No, I think you mentioned him once passing.
Yeah.
Who's your tuner?
So Tim Barth Tuning.
Okay.
If you guys don't know him, he is a phenomenal tuner.
Okay.
The guy really knows what he's doing. He can make cars fast, and he can do it safely.
Okay.
And I had a lot of trouble with the truck, and Bar Tuning moved back down to Georgia about that time, and he helped me sort through all those issues and concerns.
Good.
And he's the one I really owe it all to, because he's the guy that, you know, I can wrench things. I've done all the hard work. In case some of you don't know, I've got a Whipple 3.0 supercharger. I've got twin turbos on the truck. A few other things to go along with all of that, running compound boost, and I have no clue. I'm an idiot when it comes to tuning all of this stuff.
Yeah.
I can do all the hard parts, but you put me on a keyboard, I'm going to screw something up real quick, you know. But Tim Barth has been phenomenal. He's really worked hard, dedicated, and been with me to work through these challenges and dial this truck in.
Where can we find Tim's information? Like, if you wanted to reach out to him, does he have Instagram? Or?
So he does. Got Instagram, Facebook. He's got a website, Barth Tuning. He's got a phone number on the website if you want to call him. Email address if you want to email him.
Awesome.
But you know, he can help you. Anything Hellcat related, Hemi related, he can help you.
Okay.
He's the man for the job.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Well, definitely. Well, if you heard Jody. If you have a Hellcat or Mopar or truck just like Jody, you want to get it tuned, reach out to Tim on Instagram. I'll put his information down in the description so that anybody who wants to reach out and get help. And as you see, John Sipple reversing. So, by the way, so just to give you a little bit more backstory, I was here last month when John Sipple got certified for NHRA. I forgot, what did he run in? Do you remember what he ran?
I don't. To be honest with you, I don't want to misspeak.
I don't want to misspeak on it either. But just to say, John ran real good, and he just got certified in NHRA. So that was John that you heard backing in his Hellcat, right next to the trailer. He's been gracious enough to actually let us use his trailer to do this interview. So a big thank you to John Sipple and his crew for allowing us to do that.
Yeah.
So what's next? I mean, I know you're out here. You're just going to have some fun.
Yeah.
And you just mentioned how you like to have goals. I mean, where do you see the truck evolving now that you have the Whipple? Before you even answer that, you're the second person that I've met that has had a Mopar and has gone from the Magnuson blower
the
to the
IHI blower.
The IHI blower, excuse me, the IHI blower to the Whipple. What subtle differences do you see between those two blowers?
So the progression of power, there's benefits in several different ways, things that you can do, depending on what route you want to go with the vehicle. For me, I'm one of those guys, if I break something, there's a problem with something, generally speaking, I don't replace it. I'm going to upgrade it.
Right.
Because that's just who I am. I go all out with things, you know. So I had some trouble with the IHI blower early on. And just by chance, I'd ordered a twin turbo kit a few weeks before that. You order it, it's non-refundable. You can't return it. So it's already in motion. And my blower, I had problems with it. So I went ahead and replaced it, upgraded to the Whipple 3.0. And the Whipple supercharger has been phenomenal. Just swapping blowers. We dynoed it with the IHI, the stock blower, and at that time we ran around 760 to the ground. Swap the blower, go back and dyno it again. I was at 851.
Wow!
With just swapping the blowers, not changing the tunes. I mean, we had a little bit of tune adjustment, but without making any other changes, you know, we gained almost 100 horsepower between the blowers. So that right there, that speaks to a lot of volume.
Yeah, I was going to say,
you know.
Me coming from a Ford background, we know Whipple, but we've never seen them. Now that it's strange watching the Mopars pick up the Whipple and start adding them to their engines. It's just like, that blows my mind, because like I said, coming from a Ford background, Whipple, we just, whenever we wanted to upgrade or add a supercharger, you know, Whipple,
that's what it was.
Or it was a Ken Bell or something along those lines to do it. But Whipple has done some amazing things with their blowers.
They really have. They've been phenomenal.
Years.
Yeah.
So that's amazing. But going back to my earlier question, go ahead.
So I'm going to add one more thing in there. You know, we talked about John Sipple, and you know, he's being courteous enough to allow us to, you know, use his trailer. You see, I've got a shirt on. I haven't really advertised it too much until now, but I'm going to go ahead and just put it out there. So
plug it in, man.
We went ahead, and you've got a truck that's got over 1,000 horsepower, that's over 6,000 pounds, and you're beating on it, you're drag racing it. It puts a lot of stress on those factory parts. So I want to say this: I've got 37,000 hard miles on my TRX.
Yeah,
hard miles. I have put it through the ringer. The stock parts, Ram did a phenomenal job with this truck. But you can only push any parts. It doesn't matter if it's stock, aftermarket, but everything has its limit.
Yep.
And we found out through, data from others and my experience, we're at that threshold. You keep beating on it with that amount of horsepower, that amount of weight, it's going to break.
Yeah.
And of course, I did that. And I upgraded to a simple speed and performance transmission. This is our first weekend out with the transmission, so we're tuning it, we're dialing things in, adjusting the shift points and all that good stuff. And what I'm going to tell you again, these guys that I'm hanging around with, running around with, Tim Barth, John Sipple, I got another friend over here, Tim Holmberg. These guys are phenomenal. They're just true, genuine guys that will go out of their way and do anything they can do to help you.
Yeah.
And John has really done that. The simple speed performance transmission, first weekend out, I'm noticing some differences with it. I'm having to adjust my driving habits and learn the transmission, to get to the next level. You asked, what's my goal? Where do I want to go with it?
Right.
My goal is to go out there and have fun with it. That's what I bought it for. That's why I do it, to have fun. That's my primary goal. But along the ways, I want to be the fastest TRX out there. I want to show others what they can do with the truck, what that truck is capable of.
Right.
I've had trouble with the transmission and a few other things because of the things I've put the truck through. The suspension on that truck, everything I've done with that truck, the suspension, the drivetrain, all that stuff has been phenomenal, and it has taken a beating. So, so does that kind of answer your question?
Yeah,
where I want to go with it? Yeah?
Absolutely, and I expect nothing less from that. But again, the way we met and where you're going with the truck, we met Jody. We were all out there to have fun. That's what this is about. There are people who chase numbers all the time, and they take it so seriously that they forget that you're out here to have fun. I mean, you could chase numbers and you may reach that number, but if you're, chasing that number, and in the process of that, you're losing yourself and you're upset, you're stressed out, then, that's really not what it's about. Every time I see this guy, he has a smile on his face and he's happy. And despite all the challenges and adversity, here you are, you're out here running and having a good time. And we're out here having a good time with you.
Yeah.
And so we appreciate you inviting us out here. And,
absolutely. Appreciate you guys coming out.
Yeah. And we know you got a lot of work still to do today to dial this truck in. So we're going to let you go and do that. And then my partner, by the way, the man behind the camera, Prep, Randall Threat.
Really?
Randall Prep Threat. The one and only. Streetcar 101 magazine.
But Streetcars 101 magazine, you know how me and Streetcars 101 magazine, I'm an affiliate with Streetcars 101 magazine. If you haven't got a chance, go check out Streetcars 101 magazine for the latest on the car scene. And it's not just, the Carolinas. We travel all over Vegas, South Carolina, Cali.
Keep going.
You name it. We're going to be branching out even further this year. Myself, Will Talk Entertainment, and Streetcars 101.
John.
So we need you to stay tuned.
John.
And stay tuned and click the notification bell on our YouTube channels because we got a lot of good content coming. So with that said, Will Talk Entertainment. Like, subscribe, and never mind.
Hey guys.
Look, we got a special guest that just walked in.
I just got called to the staging lane, so I'm gonna put.
So you're gonna put me on.
I'm
the
gonna
spot.
put my good buddy John.
This is
Sipple
the man
on the spot
himself.
here.
The man on the
Put
t-shirt.
that on me. Good luck.
So
Kick some butt.
so I'll see you guys on the other end.
All right, buddy.
Hey,
Good luck.
thank you, man.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.